From falling downstairs to running into walls, wearing a
Ow.
blindfold's not that great. However, as soon as we strap a screen to our face, it becomes a out of this world experience. Yes, VR is here to stay, but in what capacity? We'll find out more. This is Dakota, along with Caleb,
Hi.
and this is Topic Crunch Episode 1, brought to you by thehavenempire.com. We'll be talking about them a little bit later. So, Caleb, VR.
Yeah.
What sort of, I
Uh-huh.
mean, how far has your experience gone? Like, Google Cardboard? I mean,
VR. I have no experience in the world of VR, but
um,
I can say this much: it's very interesting either way. I've seen people use it. I've seen. Oh wait, no, I have had experience in VR one time. So a long time ago, at a Comic Con. Yes, at a Comic Con, there was this whole station set up and whatever else, and they were like doing a whole virtual reality thing imaging. I was like, ooh, and it was a roller coaster actually. So I actually like sat down. You actually have to sit down. You just kind of get the feel.
yep.
It felt real. It was crazy. Like seriously, I don't like roller coasters anyhow, but still rode roller coaster. It was fun. I mean, I was sitting there. I was like, oh, man, this. Well, okay. I know I wasn't moving, but I felt like I was moving.
Yeah, Chris and I went to the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago, and
Oh, that
off in the
view.
space area, up a path and back, way in the back, because that's apparently where the space area is. There was a VR
Mm-hmm.
coaster. Basically, what they did is they put a headset on you, and then you sat in a chair, and the whole thing. There was like 4 chairs next to each other, would lift up and go directions, and it looked really, really, really cool. But I didn't want to spend like $10 to ride this thing, knowing I had a headset at home. In the future, that might be
Oh
something to look
man.
into. I know that like Universal Studios is making a Mario Kart coaster that's also gonna be in VR, so that'll
I'm
be
definitely
awesome.
down with that.
It's just like all these cool VR things are coming out, and really VR is still in a learning stage for a lot of people. Not a lot of people have jumped onto the bandwagon, and those who
Mm-hmm.
have to embrace the $500 price point where it is to come in
Which is
at nowadays.
outrageous.
And I've been saying for the longest time that mobile VR is going to be what pushes VR to the next step, whether that be Google Cardboard or the
Mm-hmm.
newest release by Oculus, Facebook, is the Oculus Quest.
Yeah.
Retailing in at $400, still stupidly expensive for what it is.
True. True.
Basically, an Android tablet strapped to your face, but no cables. I mean,
Yeah.
the
That.
cables are the worst thing.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that, especially if you're trying to do VR and you got to move your hands around. Or else, I've seen a few videos of people doing that. I'm like, wow, that's you get tangled, you're done.
Yep.
You're just not gonna have fun.
I know that at least the first gen Oculus or the Vive had a whole bunch of cables. So you had the cable to plug
Ugh.
into the computer, you had your visual cable, which was probably an HDMI at that point, and then you also had to plug in 2 to 3 lighthouses, which was another 3 cables
Yeah.
at max. And you're just like, why do we need all these cables? And now, since Microsoft pushed their Windows Mixed Reality, there's really not a need for that many cables. You have a power cable and you have your display cable, and that's about it. And then
Yeah.
the Quest makes that step a little bit better. I have contemplated jumping on the bandwagon for the Quest and getting a
Now,
second headset.
what I'm not entirely sure of is exactly how does it work? Because I could see where maybe it hooks up through Bluetooth, but would it be more likely Wi-Fi, or is it like? Do you know how that works? Because I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah,
I'm
so there's 2 versions of this Oculus headset. One is the Rift S, and one is
okay.
the Quest. The Rift S connects to your computer, but that uses cables. The
Hmm.
the Oculus Quest plugs or doesn't plug in anywhere. Basically, all you need to do is charge it, and it basically has a phone processor and everything in there, and it runs the games and
Oh,
everything directly off the headset. So there's no external part whatsoever besides using the Oculus app to download this stuff on your phone.
wow! So everything is right there, just
So
on your
everything is
phone,
in the
whatever. It's
headset.
like,
I mean, it's not
wow.
it it's supposedly doesn't look as good, which is understandable.
Yeah.
Everything's run on
But,
like low PC settings, so
yeah, true. But if you're gonna have to run a mass amount of like ridiculousness and clarity, you're gonna need some major power, and these things have got to have that power. And if they don't,
yep.
you're not gonna run it at super high. It's just not gonna work.
Yeah, the VR is one of those things where at this point in time, in order to run it, you need at least an $800 PC and a $400 headset from Windows in order to run on low settings. If you want to run anywhere near high or ultra, you need to have like a $1,600 PC, and then you can run it off of basically any sort of headset, Windows or Oculus or the Vive.
Hmm.
So I don't price wise, it's still hard for people if they don't already have the parts or are already a PC
Mm-hmm.
enthusiast to actually make that jump into VR because it's expensive. And
It's
I think
very expensive.
this will be the way that a lot of people get into VR and is why they've sold out on Amazon already,
I
which
mean,
is insanity.
hmm and I know for a fact I ain't getting into VR for a long time.
Yeah, I mean if they came down in price,
I would.
say the Quest ended up $200, would it be something you jump in at?
That would be plausible. I mean, at that point, that would be way more plausible. I mean, I could be working a job at that point and be like, man, I finally made money. Hell, let's go have some fun. Let's go ahead and bulk up this computer I've already built and add a VR headset to it, and bam, I'm all set. Huh?
I know that when I bought my Windows mixed reality headset, the Acer brand, the cheap one, um,
Oh, yeah.
it was about $200 for the headset and the controllers. So it really wasn't
Oh.
that bad to make that leap. I mean, there were some things where obviously Windows lacks and everybody else like tracking and whatnot, but everything else seems to work great on it. So I thought about replacing it, and now I'm just thinking about getting another headset just for the mobility aspect.
That'd be cool.
I think
I'd do that.
the only downside of this headset is because you don't have that Steam access, which losing
Oh,
the Steam store kind of sucks. However,
yeah.
RiftCat and a couple other companies have already there's sites that use the Google Cardboard or using your phones as a headset for your PC.
Mm-hmm.
And RiftCat's already found a way to use your Oculus Quest wirelessly to your PC.
Hmm.
So you can use your Steam library through that. It's not
That would be
set
wise.
up by Oculus itself, but if that's something that catches on and works really well, that'd be amazing. And I'd be really,
Absolutely.
really enthused at that point.
Some.
Personally, I was saving up for one of these, and then I accidentally spent my money again. Which they're out of
That
stock
always
till
what
like the
happens.
22nd, so it really doesn't matter much to me. Um,
Yeah.
was I walked into a game store today, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm walking around the entire thing, and you know it's the last thing on your way out. It's like the last
Of
thing that'll
course.
always catch you. And I looked over in the box or in the glass case, and there's a GameCube sitting there. I'm like, oh, I've been looking to get a
Hmm.
GameCube because the one I had broke a long time ago, and then we got rid of it.
Oh,
And I looked, and like $40. That's not bad.
no
And
way.
and I took a look over, and right next to it was a Game Boy player.
Oh
Now,
my.
the Game Boy players, if they have the discs, are worth upwards of like 150 some dollars right now
Mm-hmm.
on eBay. And I
Oh yeah.
looked, I'm like, hey, I asked the guy, I'm like, does this have a disc? And he's like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't buy it unless it has the disc. I'm like, then I want that GameCube and I want that Game Boy
Yeah.
player. So for $100, I bought something that's probably worth about $210. So it's
Wow.
just like I got stupidly lucky. It'd been there for less than 24 hours, but it's just like
That's
go to
amazing.
go to your game stores, and it wasn't GameStop.
Right.
So it's just one of those things like gotta hit those other game stores.
Well, I can tell you this much. If you're looking for different games that you can't find just random places or whatever else, I could possibly help you with that because right down here in Mooresville, North Carolina, there's a place called Game World.
Oof.
It's got anything and everything you pretty much ever imagine come from Game Boy to PlayStation, everything. even Nintendo, like Super Nintendo, all that fun stuff. So if you guys are looking for anything specific and you're like, man, I can't find it, I might be able to find it for you. So
Yeah,
yeah.
there's lots of things in my past where it was just like I need to find this, I need to find this, and it takes years to find this stuff. I know that I started looking for the Game Boy players for about a year and a half ago, and I just got lucky
Hmm.
today. And then games
Yeah.
like Star Wars Republic Commando, I played about an hour into it the first time I got it at a rental place, and I'm like, this is amazing. I went to go buy it, and the
Yeah.
disc I got corrupted after the first level.
Oh.
And then I found another one, and that did the same
Oh my.
exact thing. I'm like, are you kidding me? And like 3 years later, I found the disc again. I'm like, this is amazing. You get to play
Right.
through the entire thing, and then you learn it's on PC like 3 years later. You're like, well, that was
You're
a
like, oh,
wasted search.
right.
I mean, have you had anything like that where you're just looking for something and then it just pops up and you're like, yes.
Well, I haven't exactly looked for anything. Well, it depends because I don't know many other games. There was a few games though that I was looking for. That did happen a long time ago, like when I was what, I don't know, 15, 16, whatever else. I went and visited my friend. There was a game I was looking for forever. It was Roller Coaster Tycoon, and you could buy that anywhere, really.
Yep.
But me being young enough, I didn't know what I was doing. All I know is that was a cool game, and I wanted to play it. And I was visiting a friend, and I wanted to get the other one. I'm like, oh man, ran across it at like a Walmart or something like that. Roller Coaster Tycoon Deluxe,
Yep.
all the games in one. I'm like, oh dang, I want to buy that.
Yep.
That's like the only ever time I've ever done that with any game, really. Because I have my PC. I do everything on my PC. I don't have any game system, well, anymore, until I found emulators. Yes,
Yep.
emulators. Best friend in the world. Don't have it on my new PC yet, but I'm getting there.
Emulators are the best thing in the world as long as you're using them legally. Wink, wink. Right?
True, true. They are legal because this specific site and everything else like that is very specific in how they do it, and I got it right. So I was like,
Yep.
okay, we're good.
I mean, for the most part, the legally is as long as you've owned the game and you haven't gone and
Hmm.
sold it back somewhere, everything's perfectly fine. I know
Yeah.
for myself, I have a Raspberry Pi that has a whole bunch of my games backed up on it, and I can play all of them off of that, which is fantastic. So it's one of those things like if you want to play a game, buy
Yeah.
it, unless a company doesn't make it anymore. Then that's one of those things like it's a gray area, and
Hmm.
you want
Hmm.
to just sort of tread lightly. So we're not going to tell you that we endorse
No.
playing illegal games, but make sure that we're
No.
at least keeping the history of games alive because if these digital games go away, we're kind of in a bad place in the long run.
Yeah, and the interesting thing with any emulator or anything else like that, it's fantastic to have just for nostalgia reasons
Yep.
because there were games that I had missed playing. I do not have the actual system piece of it anymore because it died long, 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 long time ago. Um, but then to be able to play it again is fantastic. I mean, a lot of the way they're making mobile ones now are just poor. They're changing the game base of it where it's not the same. It doesn't operate the same way as we remember it operating.
Yep.
When we actually played it, how many hours? We don't know.
Yeah. Ah, man, I
Um,
remember watching you play. Man, it had to have been Super Mario 64 on an emulator.
oh yeah, I
That
remember
that was
that.
way back when, and there's ways that like I've owned Super Mario 64, but they've got the new online thing that we'll have to try out at some point that some people made, where you can play together in the same world, sort of a thing,
Yes.
which looks really, really, really cool. Um, but on the vein of NES or not NES, N64 emulators,
Uh,
at E3 this year, so far they've announced Hyperkin, which is a maker of many different things for accessories to different systems and whatnot, is making a new N64 HDMI system. It's
what?
basically an emulator, but whatnot. But basically, you can use your cartridges, put them in there, turn it on, and HDMI out to your TV, which sounds fantastic in the long run.
Oh, that would be so cool.
I'm guessing retail price right around 150 bucks. That's just a guesstimate for
Ow.
that's a guesstimate from me on how much they'll sell it for.
You
Um,
know what? I know it sounds weird, but there's an easy way to jerry rig all that without having to go ahead and buy the whole system. You get your thing, you got the RCA to HDMI converter in there, bam, boom, done.
yep,
$30.
I had to say there were ways to do it where you could mod your console where it comes directly off the board, but it was stupidly expensive from what I hear.
Yeah.
And I know that myself, I don't like modding my systems that way. Like my
No.
GameCube that I got, I want to get a special adapter for the back of it for the digital port,
Hmm.
because it's
Yeah.
supposed to improve video, and they just never used it. And
Oh.
if they did, you have to go find a cable that's $250 some in order to use it. So there's a
Ugh.
whole bunch of people out there
Yuck.
that have made new things that convert it to HDMI. So at some point down the road, I think I'm gonna pay 70 some bucks for a converter
Mhm.
for that, which hopefully will
Wow.
look fantastic. Right now it looks blurry.
Yeah, yeah. And see, here's the other thing. The reason why we have to go to that, the whole HDMI and whatever else, is because the new TVs can't handle it. The games can't figure it out. They just can't handle it because they're set in such a low resolution of everything else. TVs are like, what is this witchery?
And there are probably TVs out there that will auto scale that stuff and
But
will add
still,
scan lines and stuff, but my guess is those are stupidly expensive. And as
oh,
many of us have said here, TVs are still stupidly expensive, and we're waiting for the price to come down on them.
and there's no point into buying a $700 TV at all. Like just for us, for me at least, there's no point to it because how often do I use that TV? Hmm. Not enough to say I'm gonna need it for $700. Now, if I go somewhere and buy it from someone for like 200, okay, I can do that. But
That is it. There's
no,
also digital upscalers out there as well, but like again,
yeah,
those are stupidly expensive as well.
and there are some that actually work extremely low. Like actually had this one thing at our church that I used to go to, whatever else. We had a big TV basically set up for our screen, is what it was. And it was like one of those 80-inch TVs or something like that. It could support 4K. Now, when we plugged HDMI into it, of course, to upscale to that 4K because the computer wasn't producing a 4K signal,
Yep,
we had a 4K upscaler. They work fantastically. Just expensive, but they work fantastically.
they're
Yeah,
upwards of what, $300, $400 upscalers.
I don't know. Depends on the upscaler because some of them are expensive, some of them aren't.
The ones that aren't though probably don't work as well as the ones that are expensive. And if you're a gamer,
Yeah,
at least
and for
personally
the
for me,
most
I don't
part,
like the fogginess of what the GameCube looks like right now.
hmm, I mean, for the most part, it really depends on where you're going for. Some of them, it just depends on your materials, really, of how well it's made. Because you could have a $400 upscaler, plug it in, and find out, wow, this is crap. Buy a $100 upscaler, plug it in, and go, wow, this is amazing. What's the difference?
I had to say, if the expensive one looked like crap, I'm sending it back. I don't care.
Uh-huh. It's basically it's all about the materials, specifically in any electronics. Is if the materials are made with quality rather than quantity, you will definitely see it upscale. Otherwise, forget it.
It somewhat comes down to the software as well, though, because I know that there
Hmm.
are many things out there that will use very similar software and look very similar once the product is complete, whether the product looks the same or not. Um,
Yeah,
Similar was it the SNES and the NES Classic? Both of them were basically the same exact board. So
pretty
it's just
much.
like,
Yeah.
what? You're paying the same amount of money for basically the same thing. You're paying for the ROMs basically on those
Yeah,
systems.
pretty much.
I have almost bought or broke down into breaking or buying those a couple of times, but then I was just one of those things like, nah, I've got other ways I can play these games.
Exactly. And isn't it
Which
amazing how many ways you can play different games anymore?
it's something else. I know that for myself, here at home now we have like an NES, we have the Sega
Oh,
Genesis. So if we want to play those games, you just break out the consoles. Um,
right?
but I know that
Sega.
oh man, the Genesis was a fantastic console.
I know I miss it so much. A
I
friend had it.
I started with the N64 though. That's the first console I got to play. Um,
Let's see.
whereas we
Let's see.
had the
The first.
Sega CD as well in the Genesis. So
Oh yeah. Let's see. The way I had my Nintendo and Super. So we had the Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and Nintendo 64. That's what we had. All three of those. It was all given to us by one of my dad's friends or whatever else. Was like, here you go, a bunch of games. Here you go, have fun. And we're like, whoa! And we had this itty bitty TV. I don't know, like what? Not super itty bitty, but at least maybe 12 inches, something like that. It was small.
big
It was
enough.
small, but it was big enough to be able to plug it in. And we like, oh yeah! And then we had the bigger TV downstairs that we would play it on, and we'd play against my dad and whatever else, and it'd be really fun. There was a game though. There was one game that not many people know of. It's called Tetris Attack. Ever play Tetris Attack? Like, it is one of the best games of all time on the Super Nintendo. It was Super Nintendo.
Speaking of games and not at all going into my ad segment of this video,
Of course not.
Minecraft is a lot of
And
fun. I mean, I know that you guys
what?
don't personally play Minecraft. I know Johnny and I do
No.
though. And
Oh, you guys do. How dare you? You
I
play
mean,
Terraria. You are traitors.
I mean,
Traitors.
there are some fun modes to play in Minecraft, like Skyblock or
Traitor.
whatnot. Skyblock is a lot of fun, survival on a small island, and you have to build up your island. You know, it's just you just gotta start from nothing, get a whole bunch of stuff. And the place that at least
Terraria is still better.
this place that we like to do it here at FPO5 Studios, whether they want to mention it or not, Caleb,
No.
is the havenempire.com. So make sure to check them out. And if you want to play Minecraft, check out the havenempire.com. That's T-E. Whoa, that was not words at all. ThehavenEmpire.com. So make sure to check them out. I will try to link them in the description
Sending a
somewhere.
strongly worded message to you.
Yeah, no. I'm not gonna force you to play Minecraft, but they did say they wanted to sponsor us for this video, so or episode.
Seriously? No way. That is awesome.
I may know them personally, so they are.
Whoa. Okay. Well,
So
I may
that's
not
why.
play it, but
So yeah, the Haven Empire. So if you want to play Minecraft, play it there, or go try playing it there. One of the two. But back to.
I
I
should
mean,
meet these people.
we're back on the classic track at this point because I don't think we need to
But
linger in the 2011s with Minecraft for too long here. um,
you said too long.
back on the track of emulators, we're getting really
Yes,
close to Xbox 360 emulator,
this is true.
which is scary.
This is true. Yeah, that's not a good thing due to the fact that like the Xbox 360 is one heavy piece of machinery. I
Yep.
mean, wow. And then to make an emulator of it, that's just wow.
I mean, a lot of the games don't work yet. But it's one of those things like I'm watching it, I'm like, man, I just really want to play. I'm watching it like, man, at some point I can play Halo Reach. At some point I can play Halo Reach, and then
It came to
Microsoft goes,
PC.
we're just gonna release it everywhere. And you're like, oh,
Hmm.
well then I don't care about this emulator.
Right?
I mean, I
It's like,
feel
why do
like
I
I
need
should
this?
still because there's other games I want to play on it, but it's one of those things like Master Chief Collection's coming to PC. Well, then I'm gonna play it on PC. Who knows when it's gonna come out? We'll probably learn more at E3. I think it's next week. E3 is, or it's this week. One of the two. Um,
What, the E3 whole thing in Los Angeles?
yeah, the big conference is this week,
That
I
is
think.
June 11th
Yeah,
through
I'm
13th.
super psyched for like different things like Sea of Thieves has announcements that they're gonna make. I think a lot of it's based on the anniversary update, so it's not going to be a ton of brand new stuff, but
Yeah.
trying to get people into the game again. I'm looking
Well, I
forward
can tell you
to
this much:
what
if we
it's
have
going to do.
money by the time another one comes around, we should go to that.
I mean, believe it's a media thing, so if you get a media
Yeah,
pass
it's
or
something like
whatnot,
that.
at that point, if we had a media pass, I'm hoping we go to CES stuff like that, but that's still a
No,
ways off, as far
and
as I
most
know.
likely,
But
I'll get my news friends on it.
get us a pass. We want to go to CES and
I
E3.
don't have news friends.
It's all those people with the news degrees,
Yeah, exactly.
which is not us. We don't have news degrees.
No, I'll have a mechanics degree though.
Mechanics degree is good. I've got networking, so and not
Oh, dude,
personal networking. It's just IT network.
you, me, we could make a whole brand new electric car.
Johnny's
Yeah,
got
man.
engineering, I think, so he'd be more of the
Oh, yes, dude, we have the perfect team
electrical
here.
engineering. Yeah, so that'd be something. I also think us making an electrical car would be about as good as how Top Gear made an electrical car.
Yeah,
Oh man,
yeah.
what was it? The James? The James was such a weird vehicle.
We'll make it transform. We'll be Transformers. There we go.
Oh, maybe the James wasn't electric. I think the Jeff was electric because
I
Jeremy
don't
named the other
remember.
car. I mean, man, it was an electric car. It was aluminium, so it was bright. There's a reason that cars aren't like chrome colored driving down the street like the entire thing. I mean, that'd be a cool
Right.
project someday, but I think
Yeah.
right now
Well,
it's really
as you
simple.
know, for me, my project in the next probably 10 years is going to be the mystery machine. So when I get out of school and get the money, I'm going to find the vehicle and I'm going to start building.
Man, that'd be something else. I mean,
Oh, it's going to look epic.
hopefully hopefully our YouTube channel takes off and we can support adventures like that where we're like, hey, we're gonna make this and it's gonna be our new work
Right.
van. Hooray!
And then what we're going to do after that, we'll start traveling the world with, well, not world, but US with it.
I'm hoping that we start traveling before then. I'm still hoping that once
Well,
you
I
get
know,
back
but
to
I'm saying like
Michigan, it's
it
just
would
like
be the
Disney.
extra, we could, hey guys, we're going to this event. Let's go in the mystery machine,
Come find us. We're somewhere.
If you spot the mystery machine, woo, that kind of thing. We'd have to pull off something like that.
That would be really cool. I mean,
Hmm.
long run hope pipe dream sort of thing, but that would be really
Oh yeah.
cool. I mean,
My mystery machine will happen one day though.
I still think I think there will be trips that will happen on our YouTube channel. Check us out at
Oh yeah.
YouTube FP05 Studios. That's FP05. And at some
We're
point
pretty epic.
we're planning on what, Disney? Disney's
Yeah,
first big trip we're planning.
I'm extremely excited for that. You guys, if people are wanting to watch reactions to that,
I know that
I'll be the number one person.
right now I'm having trouble getting people to go with us. I know that Zacharias said he's
Oh,
wanted to, and Johnny's on the fence. He needs to know a
oh,
little bit beforehand, and then we just have to bug
convince
Chris.
Dusty the rest of the way.
We have to bug Chris and we have to bug Dusty. So
I thought I convinced Dusty like 3 months ago when we talked about this. He's going.
Dusty
That
ain't got no
he's
money.
going.
He's broker than you.
I know, right?
That's why we plan like a year in advance so we can
Well,
actually
of course.
find the money and
Well, my
slowly
plan
pay
is
for
for this coming year, I will get the money and I'll be like, boom, we're going.
it.
That's what I'm just gonna
Just the
say it.
next day, we're going. It's like, wait,
We're going, guys. Let's go.
but it's scheduled for 3 months from now. No, we're going.
We're going now.
3 months,
I
Chris.
want to go to Disneyland now.
3 months. uh, so that's probably still what, year and a half out, probably
Mm-hmm.
at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be really cool. Disney hasn't been making games, so we can't really comment there. I mean, the
Which
last
is kind of
big
sad,
game they
but
made was what Square Enix made, Kingdom Hearts, and I heard
oh
that
yeah.
wasn't very good. So
Yeah, people liked it. I've seen a lot of different things about it. They're like, man, this is cool. And then, man, this is like cool. You
40
know?
minutes of Frozen, yay!
Hey, man, that sounds great. I mean, I don't even know what it looked like. The only sad part is when you get like the movie, you see the movie, and it's like, oh man, this is smooth and nice, and then they put it into a game, and you're like, what happened to the animation? I
That's
saw
just
a small chunk of it. I'm like, this is not right.
that's just how technology works, right? I mean, Disney Infinity was awesome, and at some point I'll have to show you that
No,
or show that to you because I've got tons of those stupid things everywhere.
please.
But they ended that
Oh,
after Disney Infinity 3, so it was just like
yeah,
that
it's kind of
sucks.
sad. Well, on the side note of Disney may not be making games, they are making Disney Plus.
Ooh boy,
Now,
yes.
I don't know if you know anything about Disney Plus, except for we're getting very close to the day that it's going to be coming out.
I'm gonna laugh when Hulu turns into Disney Plus.
That's what it sounds like. A lot of people are speculating that due to the fact that Disney bought Hulu and officially has control of Hulu, which might be where they're going. We don't know. All
I
we
mean,
know is it's coming.
it makes so much sense for Disney just to change it. There's already a base
Yeah.
there, and all they would have to do is like, hey, for an extra dollar, here's all these other Disney movies you could have every month.
And that would be really nice. I would take that up in a heartbeat because there's a lot of movies that I like to watch every once in a while.
I'm also a fan of not having 7 different services that I have to go to
Oh,
watch my shows between
got
Netflix,
that right.
Hulu, Amazon, Crunchyroll if you decide to use that. It's like,
Now,
er,
for Disney Plus, if they are going to Hulu, the only downside with that is what are they going to do with all the other shows that are connected to Hulu right now?
I
Are they going to go ahead and axe them, or are they going to keep them in it and keep moving forward?
I think they keep it under a Hulu specials sort of a section.
Okay,
So they might keep.
that would be nice.
My guess is they just rename the app basically, rename it,
They might do that.
rework it, and then make it look better. I think
That would
that's
be kind
what
of
they'll
cool.
do. If they don't, what they'll do is they'll open Disney Plus and Hulu will go bye bye, which will
Yep.
suck.
And Netflix will die,
I mean,
crash,
Netflix
and
is up to
burn.
what, $13, $14 for a
Uh-uh.
single membership at this point?
16.
It's too much.
$16.
I just say we got out
Unless
as
I'm
soon as they
completely
said it was
wrong,
going up.
but if I remember right, they're up to $16 a month.
That's
And
ridiculous.
that's a simple plan. I'm like, oh my word, are you kidding me?
I just say I think Hulu for $16 you could have live TV with no ads.
Actually, yeah. No, it's like $30 a month. But still,
I mean,
it's cheaper than cable.
yep.
And all you need is internet.
And I know we got rid of our cable and we're using Hulu basically for everything. So it's one of those
Hmm.
things like why not? If it's gonna be cheaper and you get all the same channels, why would I care about everything else here?
Exactly.
It's everything's
Yeah.
slowly becoming digital, and that's
Right?
all that matters. Everything's gonna be on the internet.
The internet. Remember the days when the internet was not so populated? We didn't go to the internet for everything. Everyone believed everything on the internet.
I,
Those were the days. Those were some good days. And now everybody believes anything and everything they find on the internet.
I
It's
still
sad.
I still feel like my first interactions with the internet were like 4th grade. That's when I first was just like, hey, look, internet, and then like in a classroom PC, the
It's,
teacher let us go on and play Lego.com and play all the
yeah,
games on
right?
there. It's just like, sweet, look at all these cool games. Pop Tropica. I mean,
Oh
those
my
things are still. I
word.
think Pop Tropica is still going too, which is insanity.
That is such an old site. I remember that being on a cereal box, and we're like, we can play games online? What is this?
I think Pop Tropica made its way to mobile too now at this point. So it's one of those
Wow,
games that
that's
at some
wild.
point go back, look up, and just reminisce. But it's just like I don't think I could will myself into it
Don't do it,
anymore.
don't do it, don't do it.
I'd rather go back and play Pajama Sam.
Uh,
Well,
yeah, huh.
go ahead with your last thought here.
Oh,
We're starting to run low
I
on
just
time.
remember a lot of the other stuff, especially when you get it from cereal boxes and whatever else, putting it on there. It was absolutely fun. Those were the days, though. Those were the days no internet existed. So we just had random things you plugged into the computer and please work, please work, please work. Will it work? Oh, no, it didn't work. Gotta redo it.
I mean,
You
games from cereal boxes. I remember getting games from tissue boxes and just like
know.
demos and stuff. You're like, this is cool. You're getting games with tissues. This is
Yep.
amazing.
Mom, let's go buy this. More of this. Why do
Now
we need more of that? Because it's there's a game.
there's one of 3 games on this. Oh, all 3 were on the single disc. Now we have 3 of this disc. Oops.
Right?
I mean, we were really smart when we were kids, weren't we? That's how everybody
Oh
works.
yeah. And that's how come we got so many discs sitting around the house doing nothing because the game was a demo. And we got so many of the same boxes.
I still remember there was a Xbox game that I used to play. It was like a snowboarding game, like original Xbox, and the only
Mhm.
reason we played that game is because there was a Fusion Frenzy demo on it, and it
Oh
allowed
wow.
you to play up to 4 players, and you got to play like the first 5 mini games or something like that, and it was super
Huh.
fun. And then I bought the full game, and you're like, oh, this is what the rest of the game's like. I wish I would have
Right.
known. Well,
Mm,
we've been going for a while here.
we have.
I think it's time to cut us off. I mean, certainly, if you guys liked this podcast, make sure to like us wherever you're listening to us. I'm sure this will be up
Yeah,
on
man.
many different places as quickly as possible. And certainly, if you want to check us out on YouTube at YouTube slash users slash FPO5 Studios. I think it's something like that. There's a link. It's FPO5 Studios.
You should
Check the
remember
description.
your own link.
It changes. I just updated it. It let me do a custom one,
Oh,
and
okay,
I don't
well.
remember what it is, and I'm stupid. All right.
Don't call yourself stupid.
We'll talk to you guys next time, where hopefully we'll sound smarter, and there will be more of us and more chaotic. See you guys next
Yeah,
time.
we'll be very chaotic the next time. So,
All right. See ya. Bye.
signing off. See ya.